This is Ray.
This is Andy.
This is FDS NFL.
Yay! I'm always happy to talk NFL in a week like this.
For me, this weekend, it was a little boring seeing my Buffalo Bills were on the bye week.
There you go.
But you know what? We didn't win.
But you can't lose.
But you can't lose.
Yeah. Well, we'll be talking about somebody who lost in a moment. This episode, as always, is brought to you by Moose Light. If you need a beer, get one. Why?
It's scary good.
It is scary good.
Now, can I tell the viewers and listeners, not only have I got my Moose Light there, I've tried something new. It's the Moose Radler Cranberry.
Cranberry Radler.
Cranberry Radler. And I have to say...
Pretty good?
It's pretty scary good.
Yeah, that's
pretty
good.
Pretty scary good.
Right on. Is it like kind of harsh tasting or is it real sweet?
It's little sweet.
Little sweet? Okay. All right. And if you need a shirt with a logo or a jacket with a logo or anything like that, go see our buddies, the Doyles at Doyle Corporate Image.
Doyle's rule.
Yeah, the Doyle's rule.
Andy.
Yep.
All right. How about we start off with our game of the week this week?
Yeah, we can do that.
All right. Let's go to our game of the week. And you know what? I have to be honest with you. I don't really remember picking the game of the week.
So all I know is I had it written down as something that I was going to suggest to you, and a circle made its way around it on my piece of paper. So in my head, that was, I suggested it. Ray said yes. It's possible none of those things actually happened.
I'm pretty sure we didn't bring it up on the show, but let's talk about it. 49ers
possible.
And the LA Rams.
Yeah.
And the reason why I want to talk about this game, Andy, is because the San Francisco 49ers win this game 20-7.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the Rams in a second. But the 49ers are undefeated, very similar to the New England Patriots. Mm-hmm. And what I love about the 49ers, okay? First of all, when Atlanta Falcons went to the Super Bowl against the Patriots, and they lost, remember, in that excruciating way.
It was rough.
My God, I'm glad I'm not a Vikings fan or a Falcons fan.
Yeah.
Don't forget, though, the offense put up a lot of points against that Patriots defense.
Yes.
The offensive coordinator, Shanahan, is now the head coach of the 49ers.
Yes.
And Jimmy Garoppolo, who was the backup quarterback at that time for New England, is now the starting quarterback for the 49ers.
Correct.
So all I can tell you, as this year goes on and on, I am going to become more and more of a 49ers fan, because should it happen that the 49ers and the Patriots meet in the Super Bowl, wouldn't it be neat to see the future of the New England Patriots beat the New England Patriots in the Super Bowl?
So when you say the future of the New England Patriots, you mean the could have been.
The could have been future of the New England Patriots. Jimmy Garoppolo comes out and lays a smackdown, and Nick Bosa coming off there. I mean, it would be awesome. But we got lots of weeks before then.
Yeah.
All I'm telling you, here's why I want to tell you about the Rams. This is bad.
Yeah, things are not going well for them.
Things are not going well for the again, Gurley, huge disappointment, and they got him locked into a lot of money, Andy. You can't just get out of that. They're going to have dead cap space for sure.
They'll come around though, but it's been tough. So here, I'll give you my thoughts on the game really quickly. I've been sleeping on the 49ers. So even as the 49ers were getting set to face the Browns on Monday Night Football, I said out loud, I'm ashamed of saying it now, that I was way more worried about the Ravens the week before than I was about the 49ers. The 49ers hadn't beaten anybody. They played nothing but trash teams. And they dominated the Browns, and their front four, that line, you always say the key, everybody likes to say, oh, the way you get to Brady is you rush with your front four so that you can drop everybody else. Duh, that's how you beat everybody. Right, if you can get pressure with your front four, and the 49ers can, they are nasty on defense. The Kyle Shanahan offense, he was the offensive coordinator in Cleveland for a year, probably our most successful year since 2007. The thing with his offense, though, is eventually it grows stale and teams catch up to it, and he doesn't seem to be able to alter it. The 1 year that he was able to really keep it going for the entire season was, of course, the trip to the Super Bowl, and look how that turned out. But again, That's wrong. They've got that fullback now. I think he's injured now, Juszczyk or something like that. But he is having a fullback on that team and having a fullback that can go out and catch passes as well as run block like a machine is the key to that zone blocking scheme running game that they do. And they are way better than I gave them credit for. And what I kept telling a friend of mine who's a 49ers fan is wait until they at least play a division game. They've got a real tough division with Seattle and the Rams there. Well, they played one and they spanked them. Yeah. And the 49ers are for real, and
they are for real.
I was wrong.
And two more things I want to throw at you. This whole fantasy Super Bowl 49ers Patriots.
Gosh, you are so into this right now.
Richard Sherman has never forgotten the fact that the Seahawks didn't run the ball. He wants revenge on the Patriots. Yeah. And guess who else is on the 49ers?
Who's it?
The guy that went off sides in the AFC Championship last year, D. Ford.
Yeah.
Talk about another guy that wants revenge of the Patriots. All I'm saying, folks, is watch out for these 49ers. There was a lot of talk that Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't having a great spring training. Remember, we kept talking about interceptions. Well,
he hasn't even been awesome yet this season.
No, he hasn't.
But the team around him is great.
He's getting the job done. He's getting the job done. 243 yards, 0 touchdowns and an interception. So that's not great numbers. But he's got running backs.
Oh, yeah.
Kittle's a beast.
Yep.
Anyways, watch out for the 49ers. I think they're in for a good. They are on my arrows up. And the LA Rams, watch out, folks, for a team that went to the Super Bowl. I'm going to predict right now, Andy. Mm-hmm. Write it down. The Rams are not going to even make the playoffs in 2019.
I will be bringing that back.
Boom.
Up. All right. Okay, let's get the Browns over with. So what the Browns did this week is what the Browns always do to us, and that is go into a game that even the Browns fans are not giving them a chance to win, and then go out and play well enough to win it, and then shoot themselves in the foot and blow the whole thing and break our hearts. And that's really what it was. This game was all over the place. There were a lot of bad calls by the referees that are being scrutinized. The Browns played well enough to overcome that. But what they didn't play well enough to overcome was themselves. You always talk about the Browns coaching staff, and when you talk about coaching, you're talking about game management, you're talking about clock management, you're talking about play calling, you're talking about scheming and all of that stuff. And absolutely, this young Browns head coach is doing a very poor job.
Terrible job.
Baker, here's how I would sum it up for you right now. The Browns are the third youngest team in the entire NFL. And they have a head coach that was only a coordinator for half a season. They're a very, very young team that are learning how to win. Now, the off-season hype train, I guess so to speak, managed to fool a lot of people into thinking that they were way more ready to contend than they actually are. And I think what we're seeing right now is they weren't. So they're a young team. They're building they're building and learning how to win. This season at this point, here's how I would say. I keep saying, hey, the road to the playoff is through the division. They could still win the division.
They're 2 games back right now.
They are 2-4 at the moment, and they're 1 game back in their division. But they're 2-4 at the moment, and they're going into a bye week right now. And coming off the bye week, they face the New England Patriots.
Hold on, wait, because Cleveland beat the Ravens,
right?
But the Ravens won last week, and they won again this week.
Oh, yes, sorry.
So there are 2 games.
2 games total, yes. And then the Browns have the... Sorry, yeah, he threw me off. So, but you are correct. They are 2 games back in the division. They're coming off the bye. If they go 2-5, like we all expect them to, because they're not going to beat the New England Patriots, then I'm going to go ahead...
Not right now, the way they're playing.
No. They have the talent to beat anybody, as long as they can get it together. But in a bye week, you would hope... is what they're going to use to get it together. But if they go 2-5 and lose to the Patriots like we expect them to do, you know what? I expect them to go in there and tease us into thinking they're going to win too, and then just break our hearts. That's what I think. But at 2-5, I'm going to go ahead and say the playoffs are out of the picture. Now, here's my prediction. The moment that the Browns have no playoffs to play for, and they're going out there and having fun and playing with nothing to lose, which is what happened the second half of last season after the coaching staff was fired halfway through, they're going to start winning games. It'll be too little too late probably to make the playoffs, but they're going to start winning games. That's what I'm thinking at this point. Regardless, it doesn't matter. It's 1 week at a time. I am so happy right now that it's bye week and I get a break from the Browns for a week. A couple of news items really quickly about the Browns. Obviously, the offensive line has been atrocious. They are not the only problem by any stretch, and there's nobody doing them any favors, but the tackles have been atrocious. Austin Corbett, Ray, was our... everybody talks about John Dorsey and all the amazing picks that he made, and they're all home runs, right? Well, there's one that was not a home run. Mm-hmm. In the 2018 draft, 33rd overall in the second round, way up at the top of the second round, the Browns drafted an offensive lineman named Austin Corbett. He was projected to be a really good center and potentially a really good tackle. And he was the future at one of the tackle positions, or at the very least one of the guard positions. This offseason, he never played in his rookie season. He was just sort of an emergency guy. This offseason, the Browns trade Kevin Zeitler. And the reason they traded Kevin Zeitler to get Olivier Vernon is, well, number one, you're always going to trade a guard for a pass rusher. But the reason they thought they could afford to lose Zeitler, who was a very strong member of their offensive line, is they thought Austin Corbett was a plug-and-play right guard. Yeah. He's been horrible. He can't get on the field. They just traded him to the LA Rams for an undisclosed draft pick. I can promise you it's nowhere near number 33 overall. And I am now hearing rumors that going into the bye, the Browns are now talking to the Redskins again about the availability of Trent Williams, which would be a huge Pro Bowl left tackle, older, still can play, has been hurt for a while, but now he's healthy and he's just fighting with the team. That would be an interesting way to shuffle up the offensive line, and if you are going to do it, you want to do it in the bye week. I'm not buying into any of this baloney at this point, thinking that that's going to change anything. The Browns need to go on bye week, Ray. They need to get it together. They need to learn how to win together. And I hate to say it, but I think the recipe right now for wins is the Browns just losing themselves into playing for nothing to lose. So that's how sad of a state I'm in at the moment. Do you have anything else you'd like to say about the Browns before we get out of here?
I want to talk about the game a little bit.
Oh, you go ahead.
Listen, Freddie Kitchens... I said this going into the season,
and everybody did.
I said that if
it wasn't a hot take by any stretch.
It was a hot take because they weren't saying it at the time. If the Browns didn't get off to a good start, my concern was how this rookie coach was going to handle this locker room, and he has proven that he not only cannot handle this locker room.
That's wrong.
He does.
That's wrong. That's wrong. You got to start. You can't start with a false statement.
100%.
The locker room is completely on side with their coach.
Well, sure, they tell you that, but I'm going by what I see on game day. His team's not prepared to play. Mm-hmm. They're leading the NFL or close to leading the NFL in penalties.
They're leading,
right?
I think.
Baker looks horrendous as a quarterback right now. Yes, he made a couple nice throws, Andy, but he had at least 5 or 6 throws in this game where the ball's behind the receiver. If he's not hitting the receivers in stride, he's got to reach back to the receiver. And OBJ, who can catch a ball one-handed, drinking a coffee, can't even catch a ball with 2 hands anymore. Now there's rumors surfacing right now that the Browns should trade OBJ.
Wait. Rumors that they should? That's not a rumor. That's an opinion.
There's rumors that they should trade. All right. Sorry. There's opinions surfacing.
There you go.
That they should be trading OBJ out of Cleveland right now.
That'd be interesting. Kind of a ridiculous rumor, and here's a ridiculous opinion, and the only reason is Jarvis Landry. You will absolutely lose Jarvis Landry if you do something like that.
Yeah.
I think that's too drastic. You're right. Baker looked really good in this game for a while, and then he started looking bad. He did get hurt, but I'm not giving an excuse. He didn't even practice the other day. Like, he was hurt. But that said, he finally did something that I've been waiting for him to do, and that's pull a Josh Allen, and that is take the snap, back up, and when the entire center of the line opens wide up, walk through it for a touchdown, 10-yard run for a touchdown. He's had the opportunity to do that for at least first downs, if not touchdowns, multiple times this year. I was glad he did that. Some of the throws were off, but Jarvis Landry came out and said, it was either today or yesterday, look, if the ball hits us in the hands, we need to catch it. We need to do this guy a favor. You're right. When I see Odell Beckham Jr. drop a ball that hit both his hands, and then I go to the Browns Twitter account, and they're showing us the Odell one-handed catch in practice of the day, it makes me want to puke.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
All I can tell you is this about the Browns and Bills right now. Before the season started, Andy and I did a prediction video on the schedules.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Andy forecasted the Bills to go 6-10. He's way off on that prediction.
I've later changed that to 7-9 because of the Dolphins.
Prediction. I predicted the Browns to go 8-8. I'm way off on that prediction right now. They're looking 5-11, 6-10 at best right now.
There you go. Good. So what you're saying is you were wrong. Gotcha. All right. So
I was wrong.
Yeah.
I said 8-8.
Look at that. Ray just said I was wrong, which leads us into the most fitting part of the show, and that is what the... There you go. I cannot believe I just heard say that. What do you have for WTFs this week, Ray?
I was listening to an interview today.
Okay.
Rob Gronkowski was on WEEI Radio, 97.3 Talk FM in Boston, Massachusetts. And they asked him, Gronk, when are you coming back? All I want to tell you, folks, stop asking Gronk this question. He doesn't deserve it. Every place he goes, people are asking him, Gronk, when? Gronk, when? Yeah. Gronk finally came out today and said, no.
Yeah.
I'm not coming back. I retired for a reason. Mm-hmm. There it is.
Okay. That's your WTF.
And it's just, I'm worried about Gronk. He's trying to move on with his life. He's trying to move on. And people keep asking him this question.
Yeah.
Even Brady came out in an interview today saying that he won't presser Gronk anymore about coming out of retirement.
There you go.
Will everybody just lay off Gronk? Because I'm getting tired of it, and let this poor man live out his retirement doing the things that he wants to do. There you go.
Let me ask you a quick follow-up question. Now, I don't dislike Gronk by any stretch. He's an interesting personality. Did you watch him as an analyst the other night, and what are your thoughts?
He should probably retire from that as quick as possible, too.
Come on, Ray. Come
whammo,
on.
Slam!
Come on. It wasn't that bad. It is a little weird. It does look like a guy out there doing a wrestling interview for the most part. But
you know what I loved about it? Did you see he's Gronk doing all these things? And then when they get in, Michael Strahan's talking. Did you see him standing there trying to be serious in front of the camera?
Yeah, but it doesn't work.
It was so awkward. Yeah. It was so awkward trying to watch him be serious for a few seconds. And then the second that was over, he was blah, 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 all over again. And anyways, just leave the man alone. Okay? Stop asking him when he's coming back.
There you go. Is that all you got?
What's yours?
Mine, it was going to be about one topic, but I'm going to cover it later. So my WTF right now is just simply the Dallas Cowboys. Now, as big as the hype was for the Cleveland Browns in the offseason, if there was any team that at least rivaled it or came in second place, it was these Dallas Cowboys. Oh my gosh, Zeke is back. They got him signed to the contract. Amari Cooper is an amazing weapon, and Dak Prescott's a top 5 quarterback that needs to be paid like a top 5 quarterback, and they have an amazing defense. They come out hot, go 3-0. They're beating absolute trash in the process. The Giants, the Redskins, and the Dolphins. I mean, I'm sure you would put the Browns in there with them. So, but otherwise, we are looking at the trash heap of the NFL. And now what happens? They face New Orleans Saints without Drew Brees. They get beat. They can't score more than 10 points in that game. They play the Green Bay Packers. They get beat 34-24. There's no shame in that, but you got to be able to win big games with all the hype. And now, fresh off mono,
Jets.
Wow.
Jets.
The Dallas Cowboys are 3-3. They are 1 win ahead of the Cleveland Browns in the win column right now. So look at that. The 2 biggest hype teams in the offseason are crap in the bed.
Do you know what they call the Dallas Cowboys?
America's team.
America's team. That's right, Andy. Good job.
Yeah.
Right now, with the way they're playing, I don't even know if they're New Mexico's team.
New Mexico. My goodness.
Whammo!
Wow. All right. Were you watching? Did you watch the Breaking Bad movie on Netflix? You just made me think of that.
Yeah. Well, no, but I did see something earlier this week, and it's called Baking Bad. It was a segment on Baker Mayfield.
Oh,
and they did a
there you
whole
go.
thing on Baking Bad. It was friggin' hilarious.
And it was like in the theme of the TV show?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, that's cool.
Oh, another thing about well, no, we'll talk about this later.
You're going to be pounding the table and kicking Baker as much as you can here. Let's go to odds and ends. Here's another opportunity for you to bring up something about Baker. Go ahead.
No, nothing about Baker here. Officials, Andy. Oh my goodness.
It's not a good year for the officials right now.
They had a tough weekend. Now look at judgment calls. And we'll talk about this in a second. The officials have never been under so much pressure and limelight as they are in this NFL season.
Right.
This whole instant replay, the pressure these guys are under, not only that, but the replay officials are under huge pressure as well because they don't want to be in a position where they have to overturn one of their colleagues' calls on the field.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
The whole system right now is an absolute mess. But there are some certain things that an official has to get correct. Okay?
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. Monday night's football game. Lions have 12 men on the field. Boom. We got a flag.
Got it.
You have 3 guys counting the defense before the snap of the ball. And all 3 guys count them right. You tap on your lap, let them know. Boom. You throw your flag. It's there.
Got it.
Packers come out, line up 13, Andy.
13 on
How many players are allowed on the football field in American football?
11.
11. Packers line up 13.
Yeah.
No flag on the play.
Wow.
That is brutal. You have to get that stuff right. I know there's pressure. I know you're worried about replay. I know you're worried about all that stuff. But before every snap of the ball, you should at least be able to count to 11.
There you go. I agree 100%. There's a lot of pressure on these refs right now. I know I keep drawing lines back to the Browns, but yeah, like they're just buckling under the pressure of the spotlight on them right now. And I mean, some of the calls that we're seeing, that one is just a dud. But I mean, just a lot of the calls that we're seeing and the discrepancies between the way they call a certain thing in one play and then the way they turn around and call it in the next, it's 180. It's all over the place. And I just think,
listen, the replay booth, or how they thought the replay booth was going to work, is not where it needs to be right now.
Right.
I really believe that we need to take a page out of the AAF. Let's have a sky judge. Let's get rid of the replay booth. Just have a sky judge that's part of the crew.
Yeah.
And if something takes place on the field, he can message down to the referee.
Yeah.
We've missed this. Boom. There was a call here. We need to pick up the flag.
And nobody ever needs to know that it was the sky judge that told them that.
That's right, because he's part of the crew.
Exactly.
And I think that's going to help things out. If we're going to have that man up, up above, I think we need to do it as a sky judge versus this replay because, listen, the biggest problem in the NFL is the inconsistency how rules are written, Andy. And these guys are out there trying to administer these inconsistent rules. And the replay is just screwing things up to another level this year.
Yep.
There you go.
All right. What else you got?
Tom Brady has... I haven't seen this official...
I didn't even see this.
Adam Schefter announced that Tom Brady has agreed to a 2-year, $70 million contract extension, which will be adjusted year to year as Brady continues to play.
This is his usual thing that he does. They extend him for 1 extra year. They change up how the money is being distributed and so on.
But
and both sides have an option, don't they?
The only difference is, though, is we're talking more money for Brady now than we ever have in his career.
Yeah.
So this whole I'll play for nothing, this has changed for Brady.
He's still playing for way cheaper than he's worth.
Yeah, two years, $70 million.
Yeah.
That's a lot of coin.
Well, it is, but the way they'll structure that, it'll still give New England plenty of cap space to work with. So
another rumor surfaced today, Cam Newton, Andy.
Yep.
There's rumors that Carolina is considering trading Cam Newton to the Denver Broncos.
Interesting.
What do you think of that trade? Do you think that's a good move at this point with young Kyle Allen playing the way he is in Carolina? And with Denver, you already got Joe Flacco there.
Wow.
Why would you consider taking on Cam Newton?
I think it would be a good move. In my opinion, it's a good move for the Panthers because it's just them realizing they need to move on way earlier than basically when Cam still has a lot of value, right?
And you're winning games with Kyle
You're winning
Allen.
games without Cam. Cam is not the same player anymore. He's I don't want to call him injury prone, but he's always suffering injuries at this point. And for him to be an effective quarterback and be that MVP Cam Newton that we saw that one year, he has to rely on physicality, and he has to be that beast out there running the ball from time to time and hanging in the pocket and so on. And his arms got to be able to do him favors, and his shoulder ain't quite right and nothing's right. So I think it would be good for the Panthers. Looking at the Broncos, though, I mean, how would the Broncos fans react to this? I mean, I guess they'd figure out a way to get excited, but this is just, I mean, John Elway's been throwing quarterback darts since he's gotten there, and this is just throwing another one.
Another dart.
And if you actually do, like, let's think about this logically for a moment here. Like, you're not getting Cam Newton for a third-round pick. You know what I mean? So they've already spent first-rounders on Paxton Lynch and various guys. Now they're trading for guys like Flacco. They gave a big pile of money for Case Keenum, who's not even there anymore. I mean, Elway's starting to look like an idiot.
He is.
He really is.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. That's your odds and ends.
All right. Overreaction. I got one for you, Ray. We were just talking about the officials. I want you to tell me whether or not this is an overreaction. The officiating in the NFL has never, ever been this bad. Now, I'm going to ask you this question. I'm going to set it up for you a little bit. Because right now, the officials are almost the biggest story week to week, every week. You can easily look at the amount of news and the amount of attention that the officiating is getting and the amount of just blatant examples that you can review of just ridiculousness happening on the field and say, it has never been this bad. I've said the words out loud many times over the past 6 months. It has never been this bad. However, I want to ask you this. Has it always kind of been like this? And we're just noticing a lot more now due to the fact that, sure, there's some rule changes that they're working their way through figuring out how to call. But also, because of what happened in the NFC Championship game last year and how much attention is on the referees now and how much pressure there is on the NFL to fix the refereeing situation and the pressure that's on these officials themselves, are we just noticing a lot more, or is it a little worse right now?
No, it's worse right now. There's no question.
Okay.
But it's like I just said. The rules, the NFL Rules Committee has screwed up pass interference like crazy over the past couple of years to a point where we didn't know. No analyst knew what a catch was in the NFL.
Oh, the catch rule, not the pass interference.
Right,
Gotcha.
the catch rule.
Yeah.
There's been multiple reasons that have led up to where we are with officiating in the NFL.
Right.
There's a lot of great officials out there. They're at all levels of play. But the officiating in the NFL with the rules that they have to administer, now like we just talked about, the instant replay, the pressure of the instant replay, there's a lot of things that need to be corrected.
Yep.
I do think when it comes to officiating that we need to see younger guys on the sideline. Those sideline officials and back officials, we need to see guys. You got to be at least under 50. You've got to be able to, if you got a 20-yard start, because us guys that are downfield, we're playing 20 to 25 yards off the line of scrimmage. If you can't beat a wide receiver to the end zone with a 25-yard start, you're probably not in the right. You probably shouldn't be in that position anymore.
Gotcha.
Okay?
All right.
So, yes, it's a concern, but I think there's a lot of factors that play into it.
Sure. Before we get to your overreaction, I just want to tell you so you can be on the lookout for it, but I'm going to tell you the rule and the call this year that's driving me crazy. The one, yes, pass interference, we knew that was going to be a disaster, and catch rule is never. What's driving me nuts this season is face mask. Yeah. We are seeing so many just incidental, like a little flick to the mask by a mistake when your hand's on its way by and grabbing the guy from the shoulder, being flagged for face mask. And then on the next play, we're seeing guys being blatantly hauled down and their necks almost snap sideways on tackles, and that is not getting called. And that's the one that I'm seeing the most this year that is absolutely driving me crazy, that is being called so inconsistently, is the face mask penalty. The blatant, you're almost going to injure the player's neck face masks are not getting called, and the little tap is getting flagged almost every time, seemingly.
I totally get it. Listen, as an official, there's been a lot put on our plate in the last 3 years. Defenseless receiver, targeting, helmet to helmet, all these different things, horse collar.
Yeah.
There's been a number of rule changes in the last 3-4 years that have not been friendly to the officials.
Sure.
And when you look at face masks for a quarterback, the person that's calling that, the person that's supposed to make that call is the white hat, the referee. His responsibility is the quarterback. But let me ask you this, 9 times out of 10, when the face mask is being pulled on a quarterback, what angle is the referee looking at the quarterback?
From behind him.
From behind. That's why it's not being called. That's why when we talked about the sky judge earlier,
Yeah.
I really think we need to move from the system we have right now and get a sky judge in play for the NFL.
All right. Go ahead, hit me with your overreaction.
I'm going to get a little hashtag dangerous right now, Andy.
Oh,
a little hashtag dangerous.
Here we go.
And the only reason why I'm sticking on this is because we got stuck at the beginning of the year telling us how better this guy was than Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
That this guy threw for 27 touchdowns.
He did.
And beat the rookie record in touchdowns last year.
He did.
Okay?
Yeah.
I know he did.
He did that.
Recapping.
Yeah.
All right? This guy is now, in the first 20 games of his career, he's up there with some big players. Okay? Let me throw some names out to you.
Sure.
Kirk Cousins,
Yeah.
27. Mark Bulger, 26.
Yeah.
Joey Harrington, 26. Derek Anderson, 26. Geno Smith, 26. Baker Mayfield, 25. Matt Stafford and John Skeleton, whoever the hell John Skeleton is.
Didn't he play for the Bills for a little while?
No.
Yeah, he was in Arizona for a bit. I thought he was.
No, he never played for Buffalo.
John Skelton, yeah.
25. That's how many pass interceptions he's now thrown in 20 games.
Yeah.
And when Baker Mayfield came out of college, all you heard was accuracy.
Yeah.
What the hell's going on with Baker, Andy, that he's in this list of names in his first 20 games for top for pass interceptions?
I think you're missing 2 really big names from that list. One is Peyton Manning, and the other is Brett Favre.
I think if you find first 20 games.
Well, we'll take a look, but yeah, no, Ray, it's been atrocious this year. The entire Browns team is trying too hard. They're succumbing to the pressure of trying to win and living up to the hype, and they're all trying way too hard, including the coaching staff. The coaches are calling plays that shouldn't be called at those times. Baker's trying to make them work. I'm not making excuses for them. It's terrible. But do I think that there's a really good quarterback there? There is.
Well, I'm not quite sure there is. And there's a Browns fan.
Everybody who listens to this show understands that you're not quite sure this is this is the trash Baker Mayfield show.
No.
There is.
I'm getting back for all the Baker syrup I heard.
You guys are so sensitive. It bugged you so
but
much. You've already said you're so upset you don't get any attention.
There's a Browns fan that goes to every single Browns game. All right? And he's got this van called How Do We Do? All right? His name's Jason Wish. Check out his Facebook profile because this guy tells it how it is when it comes to the Browns fans. And even him is saying that Baker's been exposed and I'm not done, but teams know how to play Baker Mayfield now.
There you go.
25 interceptions.
Should have heard what he had to say about our last 6 quarterbacks. But,
that's my overreaction.
All right, let's move on to fantasy. I know you've been bragging and man, I like how you do this every week. And I mean, wow. Speaking of accuracy. All right, fantasy. You had a big week.
Yeah, fantasy. I had a 2-week stall there in fantasy. I couldn't score a point to save my life. I ran into last week I ran into Watson and Fuller. I mean, they put up 96 points between the two of them. Finally, I get back on the board in both my leagues. I'm 2-0 in both my leagues this week. I have Adrian Peterson in our RBC league, Andy.
Okay.
Put up 18 points for me.
Yep.
All they had to do was get rid of that coach, get rid of Gruden, and bring up the other coach, and they're starting to use a running game again.
There you go.
So I'm back on track in both my leagues.
There you go. In the RBC league that I'm in with you, I got destroyed again. I'm a lost cause in that league. In the Dynasty League, Jamie Drisdale's league, I got the win. I benched Baker Mayfield, picked up Phillip Rivers off waivers, started him. Would have won by an even bigger landslide had I played Baker, as he actually had a nice fantasy game. But I won in that, but that only moves me to 4-2. Though Jamie Drisdale, who's 3-3, I believe he lost this week. I have 70 more fantasy points scored on the season than him, so he's just lucking out with who he's playing. We'll just leave it that way. Right. And in all my Yahoo leagues, I was just showing them to you. All those McDonald's signs falling on the screen meant that I won those matchups. Nice. I won all of those. So it was okay. I really wish I could rebound in the RBC league a little bit. I've been talking a lot of trades with guys. I had another spat with some guys last week about them reaching out to me for trades. I tried to trade for a tight end. It didn't quite work out. Man, tight end is, and that was the conversation, fantasy conversation I wanted to have with you today is tight end's a mess.
It's a mess. Listen, there's a lot of underperformers this year. Ezekiel Elliott. I mean, what's going on with this guy? And you know, one of the things we should talk about too, Andy, is the fact that, you know, when we talk about the top teams, I razz you about the Browns, but there's not a lot of strong teams in the NFL right now, period.
Yeah.
Period.
Yep.
You have the 49ers, you got the Patriots, you got the Bills. That's about it. All right.
Yeah, and speaking of tight ends, really quickly, I can't even think of the kid's name at the moment, but Disley, the Seattle Seahawks tight end.
Gone.
I tried my best to trade for him. I mean, this was the up-and-coming star tight end for fantasy, and now he's done. So I'm really glad that actually that trade did not work out. But beyond that, I don't know. I picked up the Browns tight end Ricky Seals-Jones.
Oh yeah,
in one of my leagues, and he caught a touchdown. Yeah. So the moment he does anything over 5 points, it was a successful pickup.
There you go.
All right, picks.
Man,
we didn't do good again, right?
We didn't.
No. So
it was a tough week.
It was. I went 2-3, and I missed my upset. You went 2-3, and you missed your upset. And our buddy Cameron Briglin, who likes to comment on our YouTube, he went 2-3, and he missed his upset.
Oh man!
So it was a bit of a disaster for all of us. So between us right now, again, it's only a 1-game difference. I'm 22-8. You are 21-9, but I'm 3-3 in the upsets. You are 2-4, but that doesn't come into play unless we need a tiebreak.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
So do you want to pick some games?
Let's pick some games, Andy. Let me tell you about my games this week. So. Miami's coming to Buffalo after Buffalo's bye.
Yeah.
This is an easy 5-1 game. I'm taking the Buffalo Bills to go 5-1. San Francisco's visiting Washington. That's a no-brainer right now. I'm taking San Francisco. The the New England Patriots are taking on the New York Jets after their big win against the Cowboys.
Yep.
It's in New York, but guess what, Andy? I'm taking the New England Patriots to win that game.
I get it.
Now I got 2 tough games. Philadelphia is taking on Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
This is a game you should stay away from. It's a division game. You don't make picks like this, but I'm taking it. I'm taking Philadelphia to win this game. And my upset of the week.
Okay.
All right, my upset of the week. I'm not fooling around. The Oakland Raiders at Green Bay. I am taking the Raiders to beat the Packers because I don't believe the Packers are who we thought they were.
Wow. There you go. That was interesting. Similar picks for me right off the bat. I've got the Bills over the Dolphins. I got the Packers over the Raiders, so I'm going against you on that one, though. This is obviously that was your upset. Yeah. I'm going 49ers over Redskins. I'm going the Rams over the Falcons. I think the Rams are going to rebound. And my upset, and it's a bit of a softball upset, but it is an upset according to the spread. The Chargers finally getting a win, beating the Titans at home. So beating them in Tennessee is going to be my upset. Now, in terms of
Did you see the coach from Tennessee? They asked him about the fact that Mariota has been regressing since he's been a coach. And to the reporter, he says, "Well, I guess I'm just not that good of a football coach." How does he not get fired after making? I know he's being sarcastic, but what is he sending to management and to the team by making that statement?
Yeah. It's hard to say. I don't know.
Anyways.
Sometimes the press can just get to you. That's for sure.
There you go.
All right, here's 2 nominations for our game of the week for next week. All right, to me, Baltimore-Seattle is probably what I'm anticipating to be the most competitive game of the week. However, every week we, even though last week I sort of picked it on my own without telling you, but every week we kind of go for the high-profile matchup, what should be the most competitive game of the week. So on top of Baltimore and Seattle, oddly enough, I was going to suggest that perhaps Oakland at Green Bay is a game of the week candidate as well.
That'd be a good one as well.
Yeah.
I'm just taking a leaf through here. Eagles, Cowboys.
Eagles-Cowboys is interesting enough, I guess, too.
That would be Eagles-Cowboys would be a good one as well.
All right. Well, let's go Eagles-Cowboys. Let's go with a full NFC matchup.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Let's get out of here then. That's the show for this week, guys. If you're watching on YouTube, please click subscribe, click like, click dislike, leave a comment, do all of those things. And if you're listening on your podcast app, whatever it may be, leave us a review. We would really appreciate that.
There you go. Thanks, guys, and enjoy this week's lineup of games.
Later.
See you.